How is it that the US has the highest spend on cancer treatment, but only ranks here on outcomes? And why is it that all of these drug approvals have been withdrawn from the market just a few years after coming out? In the last few years, there has been a rise of a controversial trend, something known as accelerated approvals. Between 2009 and 2022, there have been 66 cancer drug accelerated approvals. Since 2009, 19 of these have been withdrawn.
Wait, what?
You heard that right. Over 1 in 4 of these was withdrawn from the market because of a lack of confirmed benefit. What's worse, patients are spending a lot of money on these drugs. It has been estimated that Medicare patients spent over $200 million in out-of-pocket expenses in 2019. In this video, we'll look into the dark truth behind these approvals and what this could mean for you or a loved one being treated for cancer. To start, we need to talk about the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, also known as the FDA. This is the government entity that reviews and approves new drugs and medical devices to ensure that they are safe and effective. This is often an expensive and time-intensive process that takes years of study to complete. In 1992, during the height of the HIV/AIDS epidemic, the FDA implemented the Accelerated Approval Program to speed up the approval process for rare or serious diseases that lack effective treatments. An accelerated drug approval is based on what is known as a surrogate endpoint. A surrogate endpoint is a substitute measure that is either known or likely to predict clinical benefit but does not directly measure it. An example of a surrogate endpoint would be a tumor showing response to treatment on a scan. While tumor response could be a predictor of survival benefit for patients, it is not necessarily the same thing. Accelerated approval is intended to provide patients with access to promising new therapies sooner than would be possible under traditional approval pathways, and has been a critical lifeline for patients with serious and life-threatening conditions. Pharmaceutical companies must still carry out follow-up studies to confirm the expected clinical advantages of the drug. If the confirmatory trial shows that the drug actually provides a clinical benefit, then the FDA grants traditional approval for the drug. However, if the trial fails to demonstrate the anticipated clinical benefits, the FDA has regulatory protocols in place that could result in the removal of the drug from the market. Sounds great, right? Research and development going to treat rare and serious diseases? Here's the problem. Confirmatory studies can sometimes take years to complete. With the current accelerated approval program, drug manufacturers don't have much incentive to complete the expensive clinical trials when they can fully market and sell the drugs anyway. A study led by researchers from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health found that some drugs are on the market for over 5 years with no confirmed benefit. These patients could end up paying a ton of money on drugs that may not work. If new cancer treatments were affordable, it might not be such a problem, but the cost just keeps rising. Today, the annual cost of a course of treatment for cancer drugs can be anywhere from $170,000 to up to over $400,000. Think about that for a second. A year of treatment could cost more than a home. Between 1992 and 2001, there was a total of 52 accelerated approvals. Between 2012 and 2021, that number increased to 167. While the intention of the accelerated approval program is noble, the cost, both financially and in terms of patient well-being, is a harsh reality we have to confront. There are many who would argue the benefits of the accelerated approval program. Without this program, there would be less innovation in the cancer space. I'm not here to say that the program is bad or that we should stop the approval of these drugs. Ultimately, the program is achieving its goal of giving patients access to these new therapies sooner. But have we gone too far if patients are being asked to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for uncertain benefit? We've already seen the trend for increasing numbers of accelerated approvals over the years. Now let's compare that to the trend of the millions of dollars spent lobbying by the pharmaceutical industry each year. Notice any similarities? I don't think it's a coincidence. enough where Congress themselves are talking about it. You be the judge.
Help us solve at least that problem. Turn off your lawyers and your lobbyists as antagonists when we try to solve that problem.
Thankfully, there have been recent reforms to the accelerated approval process that give the FDA more power to hold drug companies accountable. Now, they can require companies to do follow-up studies before a drug gets the green light. There are also efforts to decrease payment amounts for drugs with accelerated approvals until benefit is confirmed. This new law also makes sure the FDA is transparent about its decisions and even sets up a special counsel to make sure everyone is on the same page. It may not be perfect, but it's a step in the right direction. This is the dark truth of many of the new drug approvals today. In our rush for innovation, there have been huge wins that offer hope to patients who otherwise wouldn't have any options. But what if we get it wrong? What about all the money that has been spent on a drug that didn't deliver on its promise? While this may seem depressing, there are things that we as patients and caregivers should be aware of to make an informed decision. First off, the list of accelerated approvals is openly available on the FDA website and something that one can check prior to starting therapy. Now, I am by no means saying that a drug with an accelerated approval shouldn't be used. For cancer patients, these are sometimes the only options they have left. But it is important to understand the evidence behind it and what that cost could be to you. With cancer drugs, we often talk about the toxicities associated with them. With the rising cost of care, there is a new one to worry about: financial toxicity. Before starting treatment, it is important to define the goals of treatment and understand the risks and benefits. There is no one right answer for everyone, and having an open conversation with your oncologist is the first step. Please note that this video is not medical advice. Each of us is different, and individual patient factors will affect the best treatment option. Your oncologist and medical team will be the best ones to evaluate and guide your treatment plan. Our goal is simply to share the facts and evidence to help you make an informed decision and to create a community to help support you or a loved one during the treatment journey. Comment down below to share your story and any challenges or lessons you've learned along the way. If you found this information helpful, like and subscribe to stay up to date for more content like this. The rising cost of care is a difficult reality many of us must face. For strategies on how to deal with these rising costs, check out this next video.